What's up, friggin' world? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. My name is Justin Copeland. On this channel, Stay Fresh Productions, we talk about fragrances. We talk about everything dealing with the industry, with the artistry. If you have an interest in that kind of thing, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button. Join the Fresh Squad today. Increase, elevate, enhance, improve, and evolve your freshness. What is that? Your freshness is you bringing your best self into every situation, treating others with respect, understanding, and kindness, carrying yourself with elegance and class, and we use fragrance as at least a starting place for that. You'll feel it and others will smell it. All right, today we have a video that was requested by SirSmalls. He asked if I could do a video about some of my favorite discontinued fragrances. Now, to be honest, I was conflicted when I saw that comment because I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. But then secondly, I'm like, well, it seems kind of unfair. I'm talking about fragrances that you can't get easily. Well, some of these you can still find. In fact, you might be able to track down all of them in some capacity. Even if it's a decant, I can't guarantee how much money you'll have to spend. So just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, I thought it'd be cool to throw together a collection of 10 fragrances, both designer and niche, that are unfortunately not easy to get anymore, but are still worth your attention if you are the type who goes hunting for hard to find things. So without much further ado, let's do it. All right, these are in no particular order. Coming from the house of SirSmalls, this is called l'Odyssée pour Homme Noir Ambré. I believe this was primarily released for the Middle Eastern market, and it definitely carries that vibe. It has the scent of something that would appeal to that market. As per the name, amber, rich, deep, warm, quite sweet, woody, a little bit dusty, spicy. Very much a beautiful winter fall time scent. It is not easy to find. I got mine from fragrancebuy.ca sometime last year or the year before. They got a few in and they were gone within minutes, and I happened to get one of them. Stunning fragrance if you can get your hands on it. It's a shame you can't get it any more easily because it's a fantastic scent, but definitely recommend trying it if you can. L'Odyssée pour Homme Noir Ambré. L'Oreal. L'Oreal is the company that owns this brand, YSL, and this is a fragrance called Loam Ultim. This is a flanker to the acclaimed Loam, which came out over 15 years ago at this point. Awesome fragrance, man. And this takes that DNA. It is ultimately quite fresh, gingery, woody, but has a nice kind of creamy sweetness. They take that, they make it even more spicy and more woody with cedar wood, and they add some rose in here, a nice fresh rose. This one is not quite as sweet as the original. There's a little bit more of a mouth-watering bite to it. It's a little sharper. It's also a bit stronger. It is an eau de parfum, and this is one of the strongest ones in the entire Loam collection. Again, it's a shame they discontinued it. I think it smells wonderful. This is a perfect masculine rose if you're looking for one. If you can get your hands on it, I think it's still out there. Do it. Easy to wear. Very versatile, but has an elegance to it that's really nice. Loam Ultim. All right, up next is a niche fragrance that is definitely hard to get in this bottle presentation. I think it's still available in its newer form, but even then I think it's hard to find. This is coming from L'Artisan Parfumeur, and this is called Timbuktu. Man, this is one of the most unique fragrances out there. Nothing smells like this stuff, I'm telling you. This is primarily based on incense, myrrh. It's kind of sweet and balsamic, but there is this kind of airy quality to it that's almost smoky in a way. You definitely have a lot of woodiness in here, a lot of vetiver. You got this like dry papyrus, kind of papery quality in here. But there is green mango, which adds a touch of a fruitiness. It is incredible. It is transportive. It puts me out in a desert, maybe at twilight. There's still a little bit of warmth in the air. The air is dry. I can smell, maybe the goods from commerce in a nearby market, and I don't know, it's beautiful stuff. That's Timbuktu. Coming from Valentino, not a fragrance that everyone really cares for. I don't know why I find this so special, but I just really like it. It's kind of unique, especially for iris fragrances. This is Womo Aqua, and this takes the original Womo, which is a phenomenal scent. I actually need to get my hands on a bottle of that too. Womo was inspired by Dior Homme. In fact, it was also perfumed by the same perfumer. His name is Olivier Polge, and that is kind of this like sweet, nutty, rich fragrance. And this takes that DNA and makes it fresh. almost leaning aquatic as per the name, but you have a lot of tomato leaf in here. So it is green and kind of sharp. There's mandarin orange, making it kind of juicy and citrusy. Definitely have this kind of creamy, powdery iris in there. So elegant, pretty light, not gonna last you more than 5-6 hours, but beautiful fragrance to wear on a day out when you're dressed up. If you can get your hands on it, I'd say at least sample it. It's nothing super special, but as far as designer iris fragrances go, it's worth checking out. Valentino Womo Aqua. From Diptyque, a house that I still need to smell more from. There's many I've smelled from them that I really enjoy, and I need to just get them because they're great fragrances. But I only have a couple, and I have one of them here that is discontinued, hard to find. This is called L'Eau de l'Eau. Man, this is not everyone's cup of tea. This has a bit of a vintage vibe to it. It is a warm, spicy scent, but with a freshness in there. Lots of cloves. You gotta like dry spices. I think maybe some cinnamon in here, so there's a bit of a kind of spicy sweetness as well. It's quite woody. It is ultimately fresh, but it's mostly warm. Something to wear, maybe not on the hottest days. It does carry an elegance to it. Not the strongest performer. Something that I think I would wear during the daytime when I want to have more of a formal vibe. Really beautiful, very classy fragrance. Again, has this old world nature, but not overly dated or anything, but really, really good stuff. If you can find a sample, that is L'Eau de l'Eau. I'm gonna have links to whatever I can find with these fragrances down below. All right, from Guerlain, I think from 2015, L'Homme Medial Cologne. Funny story behind this. I originally bought this by accident. I was trying to buy the original L'Homme Medial, which is wonderful, from a seller on eBay, and this came in the mail. Actually, not this exact bottle. This is my second bottle. And I was disappointed. I was like, oh, this is not what I ordered. I tried it, and I'm like, you know what? This is actually really nice. I ended up reviewing it several years ago. A very interesting and unique mix of creamy, bitter almond with grapefruit, which almost comes across as lemon, pink pepper, bringing this kind of fizzy spiciness, maybe some woods. Ultimately smells bright, fresh, but also has this, again, kind of creamy body to the scent. There's oomph here. It's not just citrus. Very handsome smelling, very light, very likable, very delightful. Something that have you smelling very pleasant. Not really gonna make a statement, but smells so beautiful. Gonna put a smile on people's faces. L'Homme Medial Cologne. From Molinard, a house I don't have much experience with. This is Figue. I've talked about it several times. This is a absolutely beautiful, borderline breathtaking, juicy fig, but more with a green, fresh, woody quality. Similar to something like Diptyque Velocicos, but Velocicos has that coconut, which makes it a little tropical smelling. This is like straight up the fig tree right in front of you. Has a freshness, it's light, just uplifting. Fig, perfect scent. You can still find this at certain discount websites for great prices, under 50 bucks for sure. Check it out. We have another one from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. I don't know why they discontinue so many of their fragrances. This is from, I think they're like more expensive line. If you do find this one, it is not gonna be cheap. I already know that. Not the most special fragrance. Honestly, I don't know if I could recommend you buying a bottle of this unless you've smelled it already, because it's fairly simple. This is called Bucolic de Provence. I bought this on FragranceNet a couple years back. It was already discontinued. I spent over $100 on it. It looked interesting. It looked really pleasant. I bought it. It is very pleasant. Not the most interesting, but really nice. This is just iris, leather, and lavender. That's really it. It is aromatic. It is a kind of a supple, more suede-like leather, very smooth, nothing harsh about it, with that powdery iris. Not really much sweetness in here. If you can imagine something like Dior Homme without the sweetness, and maybe the iris is toned back. All three elements are very well balanced. You don't really detect anything more than anything else. It's really, really nice. Not worth price if you're gonna buy a full bottle blindly. Definitely worth a decant if you can. Bucolic de Provence. A fragrance that I have grown to love more and more as time has gone on. I'm so glad I have a bottle of this. I cannot imagine not having a bottle. When at one time, actually for a number of years right after it came out, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I couldn't really see myself getting it because it was too challenging. I was captivated by it, but I'm like, how am I gonna wear this? Gucci Guilty Absolute. The Band-Aid, as people say. Band-Aid in a bottle. Not really. This is very masculine. This is leather. This is cypress and vetiver. Very woody, very dry, very leathery, slightly brash, but still has an elegance to it. Definitely a little bit medicinal smelling. You gotta like that. On the skin, at least on my skin, it has a very, very small hint of sweetness tucked away in the core that I absolutely love. It really just comes out after it's been sitting for a while. But overall, the scent doesn't change that much on the skin. As far as designer fragrances go, I'm glad Gucci took the risk. It unfortunately missed and they had to pull it, but if you can get it and it's still out there, do it. If you're interested in these types of scents, this is not for everyone. Again, I'm telling you, if you're looking to stand out, this is a way to do it. Gucci Guilty Absolute Pearl. And finally, from the house of Tom Ford, a shame that this is discontinued. I almost chose Tobacco Oud, which is also discontinued in one of my favorites. I've heard rumblings that could be coming back in the signature line. We'll see about that. But today we're talking about Plum Japonais, which I don't think there's any plans for this to come back. And this is a stunning cold weather fragrance. It is definitely plum, juicy and dark, sweet, but very, very spicy and warm and woody and dry. As it dries down, the plum kind of fades. You're left with, honestly, in my experience, it's kind of like plum on top of the base of Tobacco Oud. I think there might be oud in here. Leathery in a way, quite spicy, again, quite warm, sweet and juicy and fruity, but again, very dry, spicy, woody. So elegant, perfectly unisex. A shame it's hard to find, but if you can get your hands on a sample, do it. I know there's some clones out there. I haven't really tried any of them, but stunning fragrance. Shame they pulled it. That's Plum Japonais from Tom Ford. All right, that's gonna do it for me. Those are 10 fragrances in my collection that are unfortunately discontinued and hard to find. I would love to know, do you have any of these? Have you tried any of these? Or have you had any of these on your radar to try? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. If you like the video, please like the video. It means so much and helps out with my visibility across YouTube. If you have not joined the Fresh Squad by subscribing, it's literally the easiest thing you'll do all day. You just click that button. You will increase your freshness, at least if you choose to. My only hope is to give you the tools, not only fragrance, but also the mindset and attitude to go along with how you carry yourself through the world. And in turn, I hope that you'll feel yourself elevated through these videos. So would love to have you as a part of the squad. But nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.